We first want to send our heartfelt sympathy out to Elisa for the loss of a friend. How you doing, Elisa?
Yeah. I'm hanging in there. It's been a couple of weeks, I'll tell you. He was just a wonderful person, wonderful teacher, a friend, a brother, a family member, and it's just a shock. And I think everybody is feeling like, why did this have to happen? It's like a brilliant man with so much to give. I mean, I went into my office and I pulled out all these binders of lyrics of all the songs that we recorded over the years, and I found an old tape recorder where we had recorded all of our rehearsals singing around the piano with him and with him playing the guitar, and I just can't believe it. I feel like he's still here, and it's kind of sad, and at the same time I feel like he's still around, and I keep getting signs, that he's still with me.
Yeah, that's right. You were at the bank today, and something stuck out that Prince was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a strange story, but about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was working in the band, he had asked one of his assistants to tell me to get a cane, that he wanted me to have a cane on stage. So I was trying to hustle to trying to find a cool cane. I went to canesarust.com, and I got this really cool clear lucite cane, and I got Swarovski crystals, and I decorated it, and I put my little nickname, Easy D, on the cane. And when I showed up to Paisley for rehearsals, and I walk up with this cane, Prince goes, "What do you have a cane for?" I said, "Because your assistant told me you wanted me to have a cane." He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Let me see your cane." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Pretty nice." I said, "Thank you. I decorated it myself." He's like, "Where'd you get it?" I said, canesarust.com. And he kind of smirked, and he said, "Can I have it?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. It'd be my honor. I worked hard on it." And he said, "Nah, I just wanted to see if you'd give it to me." And he handed it back to me. And today at the bank, I was talking to a friend on the phone, and I just went to this little cubicle area, and sure enough, right in front of me was a cane, just random, sitting right there at the desk. Like somebody left their cane, but it's just weird that I went in that corner and I saw that cane, and it just brought up that memory, and it was just odd. And that's happened a couple times since he's been gone, so I'm feeling like he's still with me in a weird way.
Yeah, of course, we're speaking with Elisa Fiorillo right now, and she was a member of Prince and the NPG as a vocalist, had a solo career, still has a solo career, of course, and Prince encouraged that. And, one of the things that stands out in my mind is how great the band was, the three ladies singing, of course, everybody playing great. Did we underestimate and underappreciate how great a musician and Prince was? We always took it for granted.
Oh, heck yeah. In rehearsals, nobody could get away with playing anything wrong. We'd rehearse 8-hour days, 5 days a week, and we'd play the same stuff over and over, but until it was right. And we took our little notes, and he'd say, "Refer back to your notes." Like if you didn't do it right, you got that look.
Right.
But he played everything. He wanted it exactly the way he heard it, and every part, from the bass to the drums to the guitar to the piano to the vocals, he heard everything. He had ears like you wouldn't believe. And you just had to be perfection. You had to live up to what he wanted you to be, and he just made you all the more better at what you did. So.
One of the last moments you had on stage with Prince and the NPG was a 3-night stand at the Mohegan Sun Arena here in Connecticut. Anything memorable from that, or just music and playing?
Amazing, bringing people up on stage to dance with us and feeling the energy of the crowd, and just watching him just live in that guitar and have it be like a part of his body. I swear, I felt like it was another limb on him. It was just so natural and so effortless, and watching him every night and being up on that stage, I'd pinch myself every now and then. And I remember this past weekend we did a little bit of a memorial that Cora Dunham and her husband Josh, who were actually in the band when I joined in 2008, they threw a little memorial, and I got to see Maya and Nandy, the twins, and Dr. Funkenberry came out, and
right.
some of the photographers and hairstylists that were on the tour with us. And we sang, "Thank you for letting me be myself." And I just started crying on stage because I remembered being in Madison Square Garden thinking, if it wasn't for Prince, I wouldn't be up on the stage. Like, he didn't have to call me after 20 years, and he didn't have to give me back what I love to do. And it felt so beautiful, like, to be able to do what I love to do again, and have that respect from somebody like him, hiring me to do it. You know?
Yeah, it was just a tremendous ride, and you were on it for various parts of your life, and you know, we were talking a little bit off air before you came on about you know, the toll that all this took, and you wish that you were there to maybe shake Prince up and put him in a corner and say, "You're going to stay here a while till you feel better." You know, how heartbreaking is that for, you know, his core friends?
Yeah, you know, when we were in the band, we were a very, very close family. And, you know, if ever he looked tired or if he looked like he needed to eat, I was always the one to say, "Hey, we need to get him some food," or, you know, "He needs to sleep. Maybe we should call rehearsal a little bit later." But he needed that love around him. And I wasn't there the last 2 years. I kept in touch with him on Twitter. He would inbox me messages every now and then, and I'd message him back and invite him to my big band show, and just went back and forth. And I just feel like, I don't know, I don't know if he didn't have the band around him anymore. It was more him doing his solo thing. It's almost kind of eerie that he ended up kind of being alone, you know, whereas if we were all there in his face, you know, right nearby to have him call us up and say, "Come on over," the energy was just different. And I just feel like I wish if I could have rolled back, maybe stayed with him 2 more years so that I could have been there to say, "Hey, you're not eating, you're not sleeping." And that's exactly what I did on Twitter. I messaged him after the plane landed and all that was in the news, and I was worried about him. So I said, "Hey, are you eating? Are you sleeping?" I said, "I know I sound like your mother, but you've got to take care of yourself." And he said, "I'm perfect. Save your prayers. Controversy."
Right.
And that's all he said.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very hard when I got the news. I just felt like, wow, I wished he would have written me back, you know, or, you know, it's tough.
And of course, recording at Paisley Park, everybody knows Paisley Park now that didn't know. What was it like in the studios recording there for those who maybe our musician friends out there?
Wow. It was a wonderful studio. He loved recording to tape. If anybody said, you know, gave him something that they were doing on their own, he's like, "Yeah, but it's digital. I can tell. You know, you need to record on tape." And, you know, just doing vocals with him was such a lesson on how he stacked harmonies and how he just, you know, at one point, I remember he put Liv, Shelby, and I in the studio and said, "This is how you push record. This is how you push stop. I'm going to go get something to eat. Record yourself." And we had to. We were scared to death. We're like, "Oh, shoot, what if we push the wrong button?" The whole Paisley Park blows up.
Right.
But he trusted us, and he wanted us to learn. He wanted us to know what the board was all about so we could record our own vocals. Like, there was never any limits with him. You couldn't tell him, you know, "Oh, I can't do that." Because he'd say, "No, you never say you can't do that. You can do anything." So he really was a teacher, I'll tell you. I said that the night that I sang Purple Rain, which was very hard to do because I've never sung the verses before. I was always in the background. But I got on stage and I thought, he's going to tell me, "You got to do this." And as soon as I said he was my teacher, I almost lost it. Like, I couldn't even, I was thinking, "Oh my God, I can't even do the verse. I can't do this." And then I said, no, you got to do this. And I did it. And I got off stage and I bawled like a baby because it was just Purple Light. And it was a reminder of everything I had gone through being with the band and horns and the horn section. And I mean, Montreux was just a magical experience when we went to Montreux.
Right.
When we went to Abu Dhabi and John's father passed away while we were on the road.
Yeah.
And afterwards, we went back to Prince's Suite, and he ordered eggs, and we stayed with John all night, and we hugged and cried, and it was such a close family. And I wish we could have been there in the end to do something. I just, you always feel like if I was there, I would have changed it, or I could have helped. And you're not. There's nothing we can do now.
Right. Well, Elisa Fiorillo is with us, and you can get her CD, The Decent Reese Project, available. She's been on the show. And one such song that Prince took a liking to, one of his favorites from that record, Lollipop Ice Cream, we're going to play right now. But tell us why he dug the song so much.
Well, it was interesting. I sent him the whole CD, and he liked 3 songs, but that one was his favorite. And he said, "Man, why didn't you write this back in the day when I was with the Revolution? I could have had a hit with this," he said. And I thought, oh my God, he just said that to me. And so, he was proud of me as a writer, and he actually ended up buying 2 of my songs. And that day that he got that email, and he said, you should be a writer, you should continue writing because you're really a good writer. It just kind of gave me more confidence. But it's such a business, writing. Everything's a business. You have to get a publishing deal. You have to be in people's faces. You have to be schmoozing in L.A. or New York or Nashville. And I'm in Vegas. It's like, hands are tied. I can write great songs to the day I die, but if no one hears them, then they're just great songs sitting on a shelf. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to kick myself in the butt and try to do something with my songs, because I think that's what he'd want me to do besides singing with the big band, which I know he wanted me to do.
Right.
So.
Well, Alyssa, we got to thank you so much for, I know, so difficult to come by, and, you're a friend to our show from now and forever. So, our heartfelt thoughts out to you.
Thank you. NPG forever, Purple Army.
That's
we
right.
Love you.
I think it brought us a lot closer, but we necessarily didn't want it to happen this way, but.
No.
Yeah. All right. The Decent Reese Project, Elisa Fiorillo, Lollipop Ice Cream. Thanks, Elisa.
Thank you so much, Joe.